Thank you for stopping by, my movie peeps. Let's talk about some movie news. Some of the things we'll be discussing here today, guys, is Sony dropped a brand new trailer for their animated movie called GOAT. We had an article that gives us a ton of updates on a bunch of Marvel projects I found kind of interesting. And the era of Spider-Man 4 movie news is getting crazier and crazier because we just had a crew member accidentally leak a couple of the villains. Oh, we'll be diving into that along with so much more, so you guys know the drill. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I want to say, guys, it's been a crazy fun month. From Jurassic World to Superman, Fantastic Four, there's been a lot of videos being put out, and you guys showed up for all of them. And I just really want to thank each and every one of you who click on those videos. Even if you click off of it halfway through, I'm still thankful you clicked on it. This last month has been one of my best months on YouTube ever, and it just makes me so grateful that I have you guys who just want to watch me do crazy nonsense. So thank you. But enough of us making out. Let's jump into the first movie news story. And well, although today we got two trailers for animated movies on anthropomorphized animals, the one that caught my attention more is for Sony's GOAT. This is a movie I was kind of curious about ever since they dropped the first poster for it, and looking at the first trailer, it looks like a decent bit of fun. This takes place in a world where animals are living just like us, except there's a basketball game they call Roarball that features the biggest and most fiercest animals around, like rhinos, tigers, lions. And well, a little goat named Will, who is being voiced by Caleb McLaughlin, who plays Lucas in Stranger Things, has dreams of becoming a professional roar player, but everyone just laughs at him because of his size, and well, he's there to prove them wrong. It seems pretty cool. I not only love the idea of, like, you know, animals playing basketball, but just the way the court system is going to work, because every time they play basketball, it's in a different landscape, environment, and setting. I think that just makes it kind of fun. I also think the animation style looks really cool. Feels like because this is Sony and they want to let you know, hey, we did Spider-Verse, they're trying to throw in some of that Spider-Verse frame rate. It also feels like it could be a Space Jam for the current generation because they attached a basketball star, Stephen Curry, who I once called Stephen Curry. Shows you how much I know about sports. Man, that comment section was crazy that day. But he's gonna voice a giraffe in the movie, and it looks like they're even promoting some of his shoes in the film, which is something that they did in the Space Jam movie with Michael Jordan. I don't know, it could be fun. It could be a pile of poop, animal poop, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I throw it off to you guys. You saw the trailer for GOAT. Does this interest you at all? And what's your favorite kid basketball movie? We have Space Jam, but there was also Like Mike, Air Bud. I don't know. You let me know. Moving on here to some other movie updates. We actually got one for Gremlins 3. As I've mentioned before, I'm a big fan of the first two Gremlin movies, and for the past 10, 15 years, we on and off hear Gremlins 3's coming. Gremlins 3's in the works. Oh, we're finally making that Gremlins movie, and I just never believe it. And although it recently got mentioned that they were making Gremlins 3 just a few months ago, I still wasn't ready to believe it, and now we got an update that's making it feel more real. During a Comic-Con appearance, one of the lead actors of the original movie, Zach Galligan, actually spoke about how Warner Brothers is very interested in the movie, and they even have a script ready to go. He said exactly, after 35 years, they've come up with a script. Warner Brothers is incredibly interested in doing it. Apparently, it's waiting on Mr. Spielberg to read it and approve it, but you can thank the success of Beetlejuice. And man, that right there is a perfect example how some film can then influence another film to happen. He's saying here, because of the most recent Beetlejuice sequel that we got that I thought was all right, I had fun with it. That movie made enough money, and they felt that Gremlins was a movie that also kind of fit that category, and that maybe there's longtime fans waiting for the return of the Mogwai. It's not a slur. That's the name of the creatures. Or maybe it is a slur to them. What do they call themselves? Am I canceled? But now Warner Brothers is now more ready than ever to actually have this Gremlins movie made, and Mr. Spielberg is reading the script and approving it, although I don't know if that means much. Take Jurassic World Rebirth, a movie I had fun with and kind of enjoyed, but it's been a lot of discourse on people not loving that. That was a Steven Spielberg approved movie. But whatever the case, I just want to see Gremlins 3. I want to see those little things come up again. I want to know how crazy or how tame they're going to go with it this time around. Will they lean into the family horror aspect? Will it actually be one of those legacy sequels that totally sucks and was not worth the wait? I don't know. We'll find out and see. But you hear now that Warner Brothers is interested. They got a finished script. It's just up to Steven Spielberg to sign off on it. Does this make you more confident that it'll actually happen this time? Ya Mogwai? Moving on, we got an update on the spin-off Donkey movie that's in the works for the Shrek universe. As you guys know, we have Shrek 5 that's going to be coming out Christmas of next year. And although we have a lot of time to wait for that movie, Eddie Murphy, who voices Donkey, is just willing to spill all the beans. He freaking let the world know that he's playing the new Inspector Clouseau in the Pink Panther movie. And if you watch that interview, it very much feels like it's something he wasn't really supposed to reveal, but he don't care. He ain't never getting hired by Marvel with that kind of talk. And well, the same thing happened here. He just randomly let us know one day that, oh yeah, Donkey movie's happening, it's in the works, and I'm gonna do my voice line soon. And well, now he's given us a little bit more detail into what we can expect with this Donkey movie. Donkey's going to be like how Puss in Boots had his own movie. Donkey's going to have his own movie, his own little story with his dragon wife and his kids that are half dragon and half donkeys. They've written this funny story. We're doing that starting in September. And that's really all, but it has not struck to me until this very moment that the solo Donkey movie is of course going to include his wife and his mutant children as part of the story. That should have been obvious from the get-go, but it really didn't hit me until right now when Eddie Murphy said it. And that is something I think we've all had giant questions about since we were kids. No matter how young you were, when you watched Shrek, whether you knew the birds and the bees, you thought to yourself, How did that happen? That better be the opening of Donkey. I want that anatomy lesson. But oh, dude, I'm willing to see how it goes because the Puss in Boots series never thought I would love a solo Puss in Boots movie. But those last two films are such a delight. And the most recent Puss in Boots movie is like right up there with one of the best Shrek movies. I'm not sure if Donkey has the capability of doing that for us, but if they even get close, that's a win, right? So we'll see what ends up happening in the Donkey movie, but are you guys excited to see the kids of Donkey get their own movie with him? Moving on, we got a couple little updates that James Gunn has been mentioning with the DCU that I have to stretch, analyze, and kind of annoy you with an overplayed subject. One of those being is he was asked once again about the whole Robert Pattinson joining into the DCU, and you can tell James Gunn is kind of annoyed with this question, but it's his word choice and what he says that lets me think I'm reading between the lines here, Jimmy Gunn. In an interview here where he was asked about how does he feel about Trisha Paytas's baby being named Aquaman, this is the kind of movie news we get nowadays. He was then also asked about Robert Pattinson joining into the DCU, where he said, I've met Pattinson before, we've talked about it before, but it's not what's happening right now. Everything is in flux, so we'll figure out what we're doing next. And heck, I'll even play it for you.
We've talked about it before, but it's not what's happening right now. So it's, you know, listen, everything's in flux, so we'll figure out what we're doing next. Yeah.
That word choice feels so specific. We've talked about it. We've pondered it. It's not what we're doing right now. Everything is in flux, and we'll figure it out what we're doing next. That does not feel like a straight up no anymore. I feel like such a crazy person, and I know you guys hate every time we talk about this, okay? I'm that annoying friend that it's like, bro, she's into you, when she's clearly not. I just want to see you get embarrassed, and I can feel better about myself for 1 second in my life. What were we talking about? I don't have this obsession with wanting Robert Pattinson join the DCU. That's not what this is. I just keep saying from a business standpoint, I feel like that would just make the most sense. But it is a tough order to ask. All I'm saying is don't be surprised if it happens one day, but I know the more James Gunn denies it, the more I just have to live with. He's gonna do the crazy risky thing, and I should just be happy because as a fan, who doesn't want two Batmen of different styles happening at the same time? Sounds pretty dope. But it's that word choice, man. It's that word choice Jimmy Gunn be using that gets to me. Another thing that was causing fans to debate hard online is we basically got revealed by James Gunn, kind of incidentally, she's just replying through fans over and over, that the Teen Titans movie that has been rumored in the works is basically put on hold. A fan randomly decided to ask James Gunn about the writer of Supergirl, Anna Nagiro's, writing the Teen Titans movie, which had previously already been reported, and James Gunn said it doesn't exist. She's been on Wonder Woman for a while. This then led fans to pull up receipts where James Gunn and Peter Safran admitted she was working on Teen Titans, that she had something written up for it. And again, James felt the need to respond saying, I don't understand. We said the script's not finished there. I asked Anne to move to Wonder Woman to finish that first, and she did. And then there are about 2 or 3 more responses with fans that James Gunn was doing online, just reiterating, Teen Titans doesn't have a finished script, not happening right now. We prioritized Wonder Woman. But the fascinating part about this, although it makes me really sad that a Teen Titans movie doesn't look like it's anywhere near happening soon, it feels like they're prioritizing the right characters. There was a little gag promotion that James Gunn did with a friend of mine, Straw Hat Goofy, where it was just supposed to be a joke about James Gunn being excited for all these DC projects, minus Peacemaker 2, where John Cena's in costume standing right next to him. And well, my friend Straw Hat, who was just trying to play along with James Gunn, ended up mentioning The Authority, and James basically made it sound like that movie's canceled.
Oh, the Batman 2 with Matt Reeves, we're working on that. We're working on Sergeant Rock. I mean,
my God.
We have got
The Authority, man. Like
the Authority, that's not going But I think that's really all the projects that were, that's...
That is not happening. And that could be the rumored movie that we heard months ago that James Gunn said he had a movie that he had to cancel because the script was just not working. They kept writing it over and over, and it was just not meeting his standards of what he considered a good movie to be, so he just had to cut off that project. Prioritizing Wonder Woman lets me know they're going in the direction I think someone should go with when building the DCU, and that's building a lot of the main characters. We just had Superman. I think that ended up being a success. We have Batman Brave and the Bold being worked on secretly. Still don't know the writer of that movie, but it's being worked on, and now Wonder Woman is prioritized and has a finished script where they're going to get ready to go on that. Those are the Trinity of the DCU. Those are the Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. The characters you want to set up first if you're headed towards like a Justice League film. So although yeah, it kind of sucks Teen Titans is put on the back, I don't mind that being a later on project because I want to set up at least the very basic main characters of the DCU first before we get into something like Authority or Swamp Thing. But I throw it off to you guys. How do you feel about Teen Titans kind of putting on hold while they focus on building the Trinity? Next up, Variety today revealed an article that gave us a bunch of little tidbits on some Marvel projects, and so I thought, why not update you on those? Some of the things they revealed in this article is, for one, again, talks about the X-Men reboot. We've learned that Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier is going to be helming that movie, where he's even talked about the style of that film being pretty different than the style we've seen in his other films. So it's not going to have like the dark, dreary tone of Thunderbolts. It could still be a dark movie, but even then it'll stylistically feel different, which I think is good. They also mentioned that they're going to actually start casting on that movie soon, and that they are looking for young talent instead of A-listers, because Marvel is really looking to keep the cost down, and that is smart. Okay, as many popular people as there are right now that they could go with, I think Feige knows he's mainly going to go with unknown or up-and-coming actors who are pretty cheap to hire right now, because the goal is going to be to have these X-Men characters in several movies, several projects, tons of crossovers, and every appearance an actor makes is more and more they have to pay them. So they don't want to start with an already expensive actor, which I think is interesting. It makes me wonder, dang, what kid on a Netflix show right now is about to be Cyclops? You know, what kid right now on Disney is about to become Beast? They also give us a small update on Blade and even Deadpool 4, saying that Marvel right now isn't in an urgent rush to make those movies. The Deadpool one makes sense to me because I still think he's going to end up being a supporting character throughout a bunch of different Marvel movies instead of getting his own solo film again. And Blade as well, I feel like with how long it's taken for that movie to get started, and now they're going right into Secret Wars and Avengers Doomsday, Blade is not a film that's going to get made within the next 4 or 5 years until we're done with the Secret Wars events and we're in this new rebooted MCU. Something else that was going around like crazy that they really wanted to recorrect is that Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards is going to have an integral role in Avengers Doomsday, but he's not going to be the lead of the movie. That was something that was misquoted when director Matt Shakman was saying that Reed Richards is a good leader of the Avengers when he was talking about the comics, and people took that to mean that he's leading Avengers Doomsday, and people were mad about that. And now that they've corrected the statement and said that no, he's just an important part of the story, but he's not a lead, People are mad about that because they think a movie where Doctor Doom is the bad guy, well, Reed Richards should at least be second or at least third in lead of that film, and I do tend to agree. It just sucks that they haven't really built up to Doom. And with them making Avengers Doomsday right now before Fantastic Four released and even knowing if the world was going to love Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards, I don't think it would have been smart on them to like risk him being such a huge part if Fantastic Four came out and let's say everyone hated his Reed Richards. That'd be something that'd be really hard to change then about Avengers Doomsday. But I'm just going to be very excited and happy with whatever they do with the Fantastic Four, because even Kevin Feige in an interview just the other day said that we will see a bunch of characters from Avengers Doomsday in the Baxter building interacting with the Fantastic Four, which also lets us know we're going to be jumping planet to planet in Avengers Doomsday. Oh, that's going to be so exciting. I cannot wait for Doomsday. Last big thing also, which is just a small tease, that Marvel Studios has recently gotten very excited with the ideas Ryan Coogler has pitched for Black Panther 3. I'm guessing Black Panther 3 will be a movie that'll be released post the MCU reboot, and by that time they will put T'Challa back into the MCU, most likely a grown-up kid T'Challa that we saw teased at the end of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. But I think a lot of people have missed that kind of character in that role, and that does make me excited to see that movie again, because I feel like we need a T'Challa character. Nothing was wrong with Shuri. She ended up being great in Wakanda Forever, but come on, a lot of us want that T'Challa figure, right? Anyways, though, those are just a couple of updates that have been revealed recently. How are you guys feeling about these? And well, moving on to Spider-Man Brand New Day. Ooh, the era of Spider-Man 4 movie news is continuing on, and it looks like we just had a crew member accidentally reveal 2 villains in the movie that also ends up revealing 2 other characters in the film. So over on Instagram, we have the assistant to the director, Destin Daniel Cretton, taking a little photo of a Spider-Man toy hanging in the office of the director, where you can actually see 2 comic covers off to the side that confirm to us 2 villains we've heard rumored for the film. One cover is of Boomerang, a low-life villain who just throws boomerangs at Spider-Man, and another one named Tarantula, which is a very skilled martial artist that sometimes uses blades with poisons on the tip to knock out his opponents. And we know these aren't just random comic book covers, because a couple of weeks ago, Kevin Feige himself, Feige's gonna have to snipe his own self. Kevin Feige let us know that in the office of director Destin Daniel Cretton, who's working on Spider-Man 4, he has 8 comic book covers on the wall, all of things that'll happen in Spider-Man 4 and that he even wants to recreate in the movie, which lets us know then these comic book covers are not random, and the characters in them are most likely characters in Spider-Man Brand New Day. This officially confirms some of the rumors we heard months back when someone was at a Disney merchandising event where they were showing off toys, and he said that he saw characters like Boomerang, Tombstone, Scorpion. Now, we've gotten those people confirmed here. So, okay, what do I think about this? I'm not gonna lie. Boomerang and Tarantula are not even in like my top 20 Spider-Man villains. They're on that low scale. But they do seem like characters that fit the vibe of the street level story they're going with, and I wonder how integral to the story they'll actually be. They feel like they're gonna be thugs for hire. If Tombstone is part of this movie, then it feels like maybe there's a gang war going on in New York. With Wilson Fisk maybe being mayor, there is open territory for the criminal empire, right? And Tombstone is usually one of those bosses, and I can see him hiring people like a Boomerang or a Tarantula to get rid of their Spider-Man problem. You also then probably have to think about Frank Castle being part of the story, who doesn't like all these crime people coming about and he wants to kill them. And I feel like Spider-Man will look at Boomerang and Tarantula almost like joke villains, where it's like, yeah, you guys are bad guys, but you're kind of silly bad guys. And then you have Punisher coming around the corner going, I'm putting a bullet in their brain. Probably not something Spider-Man's gonna be okay with. So I'm sure there'll be some conflict there. I don't know. I'm still very lost on what is happening in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Like, we have the idea of the Punisher there. We know it's street level. We got these random villains also, but no idea what's happening in this film story-wise. And most exciting of all, they're turning the streets of Glasgow into New York City, where we're getting a ton of photos of police cars, New York signs, buses. They are literally going to start filming this movie in like 2 days, and we could get our first set photos of Spider-Man in his suit within these 2 days. So I throw it off to you. How do you guys feel about these 2 villains essentially being confirmed for the movie? Your thoughts and theories about how it could play out? Anyways, guys, that is all the movie news we currently have going on today. I want to thank you so much for taking time out day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.